Good morning, guys, and welcome to the podcast. I've got a entrepreneur for us today, Nick, coming out of Florida, and has a variety of skill sets that he's comfortable talking with. He got all the experience in the restaurant business, and he's parlayed that into real estate. He's a coach. He's also done a lot of, he knows about growing, scaling, managing a business. And I'm really happy to have him on to discuss his entrepreneurial venture. Nick, welcome.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Give us your background and how you came to be doing what you're doing now.
Yeah, no, I sure will. Yeah, one thing I've learned about life is, and Steve Jobs said it best, that we can only connect the dots like looking backwards, right? Like whenever we're in the mess, we never know, oh God, this job sucks, or oh, this sucks. But then 10 years later, a problem could be like, oh, I've dealt with this before. And my story's a lot like that. I spent too long in the restaurant industry, 13 years working 70 hours a week. It was extremely painful. I didn't realize it at the time, because it was all I knew, right? So it was where I started. So it didn't seem like a lot of work. It seemed normal compared to everything else. But I did that for 13 years. I'll tell you, I've encountered every problem, employees doing drugs, customers doing drugs. I've got a couple stories that involve human poop on the floor, right? You do something long enough, you're gonna experience the ugly sides of it. So I did that forever. 13 years is a long time for 70 hours a week. I think that equals almost 17 years if I was working 40 hours a week, just so everyone knows if they're only working 40, that little extra chunk on top. And then I didn't want to, like, I knew I was amazing. I knew I was a great manager. I would drive to work and study all day long, leadership books and management books. And I would get to work and I would practice those books, right? Is what I would do. And I quickly learned I was just different than my peers. I knew how to use a computer. I knew how to talk to people. I knew how to run a great restaurant. A lot of people can only do one out of those three. They can either use a computer or they can talk to people, or they might be able to run good operations, but they're not great at all three. So I could tell by my skill being so great that I knew I was destined for something better. I left that. I found the real estate industry. I accidentally stumbled into it was an education company that teaches people how to invest, wholesaling, fix and flipping, stuff like that. And I didn't know shit. I was just a restaurant manager. I didn't even know real estate was a business. The only thing I knew about mortgages was my dad paid one every month. That was the only thing I knew. I didn't know that you could rent it out or any. I didn't have that world. So this really opened my eyes, and I took this job as an event coordinator. Right. I was just glad to be out of restaurants. And I was like, restaurants are basically an event that happens 13 hours a day. I could be an event coordinator, whatever gets me out of this freaking place. And it was a great decision. I worked there for 10 months. I got 3 promotions. I became an executive after 10 months. And I think that's how good of a restaurant leader I was. They put me in a whole nother field and I'm running this whole division of the company within 10 months, still with no real estate knowledge. I was just really good at the customer experience. I was really good at getting results. I was good at holding people accountable. And that's really what leadership is. The industry is irrelevant, in my opinion. So, anyways, I did that for a while. And being the executive in a new industry, all the complaints started coming to me, right? That's what leadership is. Leadership is fielding complaints. And again, I don't know real estate. So it's like, the advice I gave people wasn't the normal advice that they ever received, right? I'm talking to them from a blue collar restaurant background, but I'm in a whole new industry. The advice I started giving was I almost want to say David Goggins style, right? It was like, just do the work and hustle and go out. Because when someone poops on the floor in a restaurant, there's no one to call. Who do I call? You don't call anyone. You grab a fucking toilet paper and you handle it. Okay. And so if you're having a hard time in real estate, you pick up the phone and you handle it. Right. So everyone kept coming and bringing their problems to me. And one of the biggest problems I learned was lead generation. The company I own now, fast forward a little bit, we did 1.6 million last year. I own a lead generation company for real estate investors or realtors is basically what I own now. And all these people were calling me about their lead gen issues, calling me over, and all of the clients were having issues. And I remember the direct mail was the big thing. They just pay the mail, they send the mail. If they want to sell, they'll sell to us. It doesn't really work that often. It does work, but not all the time. And my clients were going broke trying this strategy. And I was like, well, there's got to be a better way. What's a better way? And then one day I looked down and I'm like, oh, like We already pay AT&T for phone service. We already pay Verizon. So I started teaching our whole community to dial people by hand instead of doing direct mail. And the back to the fast forward, the lead generation strategy we do is cold calling and text messaging. And we just niched down and it started totally organically. I solved the problem for our clients at the education company. People started closing deals. It started going well. And then as life went on, I was like, or as the weeks went on, I realized I'm onto something here. And then I started cold calling every day. And I was trying to do my first real estate deal. But before I ever closed my first deal, I ended up getting 10 people to pay me to cold call for them. And I'm making more money from cold calling than I was for real estate. And fast forward, and we just did 1.6 million last year. And now I probably serve about 3,000 investors a year for lead generation, which is crazy.
Yeah, really interesting story. And start out, there's three tangents that you touched upon. And the first is for your real estate deals, when you're making the sale, is for investor, is it for a syndication, is it for a coaching course? What are you cold calling
Mm.
and selling?
Yeah, we're calling owners, right? And we're asking them, we're actually not selling anything. We're actually asking them if they want to sell, right? Hey, do you own this property? Yes, I do. Oh, great. Have you ever considered selling before? It's all sheer seller leads, right? We want to find, and that's why we're great for realtors, investors. Syndications might be different because that might be maybe for syndications, you're looking for buyers, right? You're looking for investors if you're syndicating because you might already have the property down. But definitely land, houses, commercial properties, businesses, and then also over the last 8 years, we're in 30 industries now, but real estate is like 90% of our business. But we've done lawn care, pest control, insurance, all that fun stuff too.
Yeah, and that's very educational for the audience. And what's interesting is this idea, because cold calling and SMS, how do those tactics and strategies relate versus, because everybody's on social media now or email marketing? What is the advantage of that particular niche that you're targeting?
Yeah, that's a great question. The real thing is we're direct, right? Just if you were to send direct mail to my mailbox, you don't know if I saw that, right? For all, because I don't know, can't speak for anyone else, but the way I check my mail is I open it up and whatever's colorful goes right in the trash. And then I just open the envelopes. And that's even if the envelope looks important. If the envelope doesn't look important, I'm not opening it. So we don't really know if we do direct mail, if they saw that. The beauty of calls and texts is we spoke to that person, we texted that person. So it's a little bit more, it's more engaging, right? As I would say, rather than even a Facebook ad. Facebook ads, that's how I do my own Facebook ads for my business. And it is great, right? But we don't really know, are they paying attention while they're scrolling? Are they just flipping past me? As opposed to, hey, you, the owner of this property, have you ever considered selling? So it's like it's like a tip of the spear approach. I feel like you're really getting them.
And how do you deal with this? Because a lot of people they don't answer their phone or their SMS text. A lot of it's, they're like, oh, that's spam or that's a scam. How do you get around that?
Yeah, the big part there is really just to be super direct, right? It's where our text message literally says, I'm reaching out about 123 Sycamore Street. Have you ever considered selling before? And I think that all the scams come in vague. Hey, how are you? They're like, hey, what's up? Like, where are you from? And it's like, we're reaching out for one thing. We're not talking about anything else. And so that's one aspect is our directness. The other thing on our cold callers is I offer American cold callers. So I'm actually one of the only companies in existence, especially for real estate, that offers an American to cold call for you. What that does is that tells the lead you're more serious. When someone calls and there's a very thick accent on the other line, I think you mentioned social media earlier. I think social media has us being scammed at such an alarming rate that whenever we see or hear foreign, and they want something from us, we automatically think that something bad is about to happen. So the other edge that I use to combat that is having an American be on the phone. I think we can all agree when someone calls, like, hey, is this John? And you're like, that's perfect English. You're like, this must be important, right? And then if it's not, then it's probably not important.
Interesting. Yeah, there's a lot of, and you mentioned how are you scaling your auto? Because I know, for example, I've heard like a couple years ago, people were using AI chatbots to get the leads, like reach out, and then once the lead they submitted their information, then you would cold call. Are you doing that approach, or how are you using AI or
Yeah,
chatbots?
honestly, and I'm a little old school, but I'm not using any AI in my business. I use human interaction. I'm so much better because of my restaurant career. I'm so much better with people than software. Now, I am still very good with software, but I am I can program a person to do anything I want them to do. Programming a software or an AI bot, I'm not a big fan of. And there was also recent legislation, I think it was January 27th, that came out that officially classified AI cold calling as a robodial. And robodials are illegal nationwide, which means that you can be litigated against for using it. So I'm glad I never jumped too deep into AI for cold calling, anyways, because the rug was just pulled out from under a lot of people very recently.
And hearing from your experience, what I found was like you, because I've had other people on the podcast and they were using their experiences as a stepping stone for bigger and greater things. And, what was interesting is you kept your mind sharp and focused and curious and always keep your
Yeah.
eyes on the prize. And for a lot of people, they're limited in their scope and thinking. So what is your words of advice and encouragement to go from like a kind of like an operator to like a business owner, an entrepreneur, leader?
Oh, wow. That's a great question. I'm still working on that myself. If I'm being transparent, I'm very hands on in my business. My cell phone number's on the website. I love providing a superior service to people, and I'm good at doing that. But my biggest piece of advice for someone trying to go from business owner to entrepreneur, I think this was one of the biggest breakthroughs I've had, and I do this every couple months, is I'll keep a notepad close to my computer and I'll write down everything I do in every day. Okay. Because what happens is we do more than we think we do. Oh, I sent an invoice. Oh, I answered the call. Oh, I put out this fire. Oh, I told this person. Oh, I helped this customer. Before you know it, we'll do 50 things in a given day. Okay. Then what I did is I have this exercise. Well, I'll go down all those things that I did and I'll say, which one of these have to be me? Okay. And then I'll put a star next to everything that has to be me. All right. Then everything else I give away to my employees. I do have 30 employees. So we do have a very large team. But I then I'll either hire someone new because it might be a whole new task, or I'll see, oh, that's customer service. They should be doing that. This is processing. They should be doing that. This is this. They should. So then I'll just then delegate those and I'll create a system because if we get caught doing those things every day, we're just creating another job. And a business owner, that's fine to have a job as a business owner. At being 8 years in business, I think I retired for like my first 4 years. Like I created my systems were so good when I first created this business. I literally bought a Winnebago and traveled the country. And all I had to do was have my cell phone on me. There wasn't no work, but I had to have service and I had to have my cell phone. Then after 4 years, I realized I had to do a remodel, right? I had to get back in my business. Competition was coming out. I had no competition for 4 years, so that didn't matter. I'm like making all this damn money. Then competition starts coming out because I'm killing it, and they see me killing it, so they're duplicating it. And then every year I've had to innovate and then add a layer of service to my business. That's one of the reasons why we're so successful is I was one of the first ones. And to this day, I'm one of the best ones, even compared to me and the other people as well.
What resources helped you, either YouTube channels, podcasts, books, courses, digital courses, helped you in this transition?
So I love that. I am not a big course guy. Okay. I can't watch a video. I can watch Netflix. I can kill some TV, but for some reason, I don't associate like TV with education. And I hate that about myself. Like my friends that are YouTubers, I'm so jealous. I'm so jealous. I can't research anything on YouTube. It's also not my style. My style is to sprint headfirst into the wall and then analyze what I did wrong. So I've never been a great researcher. Now, the biggest gift I think I've had is audiobooks. I used to drive when I was in the restaurant industry. I drove in 2 hours a day. All right. So I would crush audiobooks. Now, my favorite audiobook of all time is The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I highly recommend it. I've listened to it 5 times, and every time I feel stagnant in life, I listen to it again. And every time I listen to it, I hear a completely different lesson. Like it's a totally different book every time because I'm at a different place in my life while he's talking to you. But I really call the 7 habits like my personal Bible. When I feel lost, I go to it, and it's been absolutely amazing for me. So that would take cake on what's really helped prepare me and help center me into doing this. Beyond that, I listened to a lot of Gary Vee in my younger years when I was a restaurant manager. And the irony is, it did not apply at all to restaurant management, like at all. But I realized that when I came into this, that I had this amazing Gary Vee foundation, right? So I'd give a lot of credit to Gary Vee for entrepreneurship and a lot of credit to Stephen Covey, who's the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, to like maybe execution, right? That's probably how I would. The differences in those two books. Stephen Covey is more like, here's how we operate it through life. And Gary Vee is, here's how we operate as an entrepreneur, as I would say is the differences in those two examples.
Yeah, and I've heard a lot of successful entrepreneurs, they recommend the 7 habits. That's one of those.
Do they? Yeah.
Yeah. What's been like kind of one of your biggest mistakes, and what did you learn from it, and so that the audience can take insights from you?
Yeah, I think so. One of the biggest mistakes comes from something I did right. And what I did right is I created this business at the right time. Like I said, I was one of the first on the scene. And I'm still a first in a couple of categories in what I do now. Like with the Americans, still no one does Americans, right? So I'm still that first, right? But the one thing I did wrong because I was young and greedy is I didn't go out and I didn't create affiliate partners soon enough. Okay. If I was smarter, I was so busy running my business, I never thought to go to these other big companies and offer them a portion of my sales if they promoted me. Right. Now, the reason why that was a mistake is everyone saw that I was killing it. And then they started offering services that I offer because I'm killing it. If I would have gone to them ahead of time and said, here's a piece of my business, just sell my business, don't do the work, I would be so wealthy right now. And I will say that was probably my biggest lesson is when I got onto something at the time, maybe I was being selfish. Maybe I didn't want to give away the 10% of the sales. Maybe I didn't want to do that and I'm also making a lot of money from what I'm used to. I'm used to making $70,000 a year. My first 6 months, we made $380,000. My first year we made 690,000. So it's like, that's a lot of money to me. And so when it came to thinking about giving away 10% or 20% or whatever it is, I was like, I don't know. I don't want to do that. And so that was definitely, I would say, one of my biggest mistakes was I do that now. Of course, it's a big part of one of the main parts of our business is affiliate marketing, but I didn't do it back then. So yeah, that would have been a different story.
Yeah, really. And how can people, if they're motivated and inspired by our conversation, how could they reach out to you and learn from you and connect with you?
Yeah, I am big on Facebook. I'll give you the link for whenever this posts as well. You guys will love me on Facebook. I post the funny stuff, I post the business stuff, relationship stuff, crazy stuff. I'm really a lot of fun on Facebook. So that's my favorite. If you do go to my website, my cell phone number is at the top. And I really don't mind people just calling. Hey, even if you say, hey, I saw you on the pod. I don't care if you're a customer. I don't care if you just want to meet me. I have that restaurant manager mentality. So it doesn't matter to me. Just say hi, right? So anyone could call me. Also on my website, it actually says follow me on Facebook. So if you want to just go to the website, leadminingpros.com, you could check that out. And I'm really easy to find. And my full name is unique. My first name's Nicholas and my last name's Nick. And that's real. That's not something I made up, but yeah, so you'll know when you see me, and people have told me once they start seeing me on Facebook, they don't stop after that. So hopefully that's a good thing.
Yeah, excellent. I really enjoyed talking with you, and really curious and intelligent entrepreneur, and to see your success, and keep up the great work.
Yeah, no, thank you so much. I really appreciate you having me today.